Hi all. Today, in this brief talk, I would like to share with you some ideas. And these ideas are related to the concept of observation, to the idea of observation as a cognitive tool, as a way to know something. And I'm going to tell about several aspects of that. And I'm going to tell about programmable observation. I'm going to tell about interpretation, different from observation itself, and I'm going to tell about programmable interpretation. So let me explain what I mean. I once asked the internet via the Gemini. I asked, why do we need so profound and detailed teaching as Buddhism? Why did I do that? What was the reason for that question? And the reason was that there is an idea inside the Buddhism, and the idea is telling that it is not a belief. It is not a dead concept that you need to accept without checking. It is something you need to check. It is something you need to make sure by yourself. But how? How should I check the truth, the consistency, and all the things about the Buddhism concepts? And they say, meditate, practice, observe with your own mind. Observe and you will see the truth. So that's the idea inside the teaching. So my question is, from my perspective, logical. If I need to observe, if I can do that, why do I need the whole teaching, the whole dharma? And the internet, presented by Gemini, answered to that it is like a map. Let's say you are searching for something, and let's say this something is somewhere on a large scale of what is possible. So without a map, you will spend 1,000 years by searching for this particular thing, and maybe you will find it. But the map, the accurate map, makes you more effective in that search. Yeah? And that sounds very reasonable and very logical. But let me tell you the following. The problem of spending 1,000 years in searching something on the big area only exists on one condition. And this condition is that I am searching for definite thing. So if I am not programmed in advance for searching for some specific thing, then I can find many different things on that area. And in case when I programmed in advance for searching for specific things, first with a specific map related to this thing, yes, I will spend a lot of time. And with the map, I will be more effective. But effective only in searching this particular thing. But pay attention to the fact how searching for particular thing brings out of my attention many other potential things that are probably there on this area, but I will, using my map, which direct me to some destination, ignore these different things. So in case if I'm not programmed in advance for searching for specific thing, I can find many different things not related to the idea of the author of the map of what I should find. And with that approach, I have no problem of searching for 1,000 years. I find something at every moment. Yeah? So my ideas here is that a concept, a map, is not a neutral thing in our cognitive process. It is a thing that shapes the search. And if I'm told to find something, when I start to observe, I get more chances to find exactly what I was told to find. Specifically, if I'm searching for that through my inner space. We know that mind is capable of making things up. So if I am told to find something, a great chance of finding this particular something arises. And with that, a great chance of losing many other potential things that I could find can happen. So this is about how map is not only the map, and how goal-directed search is not only the search, but it shapes the observation. It excludes something from that observation and includes something, and some things that are included in that observation may be made up by the observing mind. So if Buddhism is telling me to search for the void and provides the map for that, the method I use, Buddhism meditation, leads me to this shaped result and shapes my search. So if I'm told to find a void, I will probably, highly probably, if I'm persistent, if I make enough effort, if I have enough discipline, but in the end, the thing that I will find will, surprise, surprise, be the void. Exactly the thing I was programmed to find. The second thing is about the observation itself. So the tradition suggests I search. The tradition suggests I observe. The tradition says observe and you will see. Okay. Do you remember that story about 3 blind men observing the elephant? Okay, one blind man touched the nose of the elephant and he said, I observe the elephant is a snake. It's like a snake, very familiar. Second blind man touched the foot of the elephant. Okay, and he said, the elephant is the pole. I can feel that. I observe that. The third blind man touched the back of the elephant. He said, elephant is a wall. I observed that. In that case, you can see that observation is actually separated from interpretation. The data itself, the observed events, are interpreted later. So actually, the case with the observation is not that simple. Let me provide you with the example of Bardo Todol, Tibetan Book of the Dead. And I'd like to remind you that this book is not only Tibetan, this book is Buddhism Tibetan, Tibetan Buddhism. So what this book is doing, describing the experience of the consciousness after the death, the consciousness as the process after the death, it says you will have this consciousness will have to observe a lot of things. But all those observations, just remember, be prepared to that. All those experiences, all those observations are just the projections of your own mind. Yeah? So this statement programs in advance the observer to interpret the events being observed in a very specific way. So let me emphasize once again, this is Buddhism, and what I presented before is also Buddhism. So in one place, this tradition says, rely on observation. Observe your mind and you will see the truth. In other case, contextually, it says, observe and do not believe anything of what you are observing. Do not take it literally. So I cannot understand. Observe or not observe? Can I rely on observation or I cannot? Why in one cases I should treat the observation as the clear representation of truth, and in other cases I should interpret it the same by their nature observations as illusions? I cannot understand that. But what I want to emphasize is that interpretation is also programmed. And therefore, the idea of clear and simple observation fails, it disappears. Observation is affected by what you was told before the observation. And observation doesn't end at observation. It goes with interpretation later and during observation as well. And this interpretation is also programmed by what you are, what tradition you belong to, and so on and so on. The same observed facts as we showed before can lead to catastrophically different conclusions. So it's not the very simple case with the observation. And the last example in that context that I wanted to present is this small talk. It's artificial intelligence generated. Obviously, it has its author that I don't know, whom I don't know. But let's say it presents. It says that it presents the point of view of Nisargadatta Maharaj. Oh my God, difficult name. I will call him Maharaj, but it's not Buddhism. It's Advaita Vedanta. But what let's say it doesn't matter if Maharaj actually told that or not. Let's just discuss the ideas there. We have all the reasons to to think this is a correct representation of the ideas, because we know some facts about Advaita Vedanta, which Maharaj was the representative of. So what he is saying, it's about, again, about observation. You see that on the screen. The guy says, observe and you will see. Observe and you will see what? He says, observe, like in your inner life, action happens first and then thoughts arrive later, and therefore there is no free will. And here comes those considerations that we discussed before about the observation. Okay, can I rely on what I observe, or I cannot? Is what Maharaj saying programming me to interpret what I observe in a very specific way and to observe what he tells me to observe in the first place? Let me tell you the following. In the standard inner flow, if we start to observe, we don't observe the gap Maharaj is talking about. We need to make a lot of effort to notice this gap. And he says, make this effort. Notice that, because this is the truth. But there is another thing in the inner experience that we observe without any effort. It's the free will itself, the feeling of that we are in charge, that we are making decision. So there are two things for observation: a feeling of free will and a gap. And let's say both of these experiences are presented. One of them is easily accessible, the experience of feeling of presence of free will. And the other one, gap, that Maharaj is talking about, is a difficult thing to notice. So we don't usually do that until programmed to do that. But let's say it's not a mere programming and this gap actually is present. But the next question is how we are going to interpret that. And all of a sudden, Maharaj interprets this data in full accordance with the Advaita Vedanta tradition he belongs to. Very unexpected thing. Can I interpret that gap even if I see it differently? And the main question is about observation itself, my attitude and interpretation of what I observe. Why is that I have two events in my inner life to observe, and one of that is suggested by Maharaj to be interpreted as illusion, and the other one is suggested, if I notice that, to be interpreted as truth? So what is the difference between these two events that I need to interpret one of them as illusion and another one is as a truth? And my impression is that the only reason to do that interpretations in that way is pre-programming. It comes from Advaita Vedanta vision and tradition. And I'm very sorry, but the concept of observe and you will see the truth becomes a little problematic in that specific context. So that was my idea, and I wanted to share it with you, and I did. Thank you for your attention. Bye.